Joining us now is a digital communications and marketing expert. She will be discussing what employability would have to look like if undergraduates and fresh graduates understood how to prepare and position for opportunities even before they hit the job market. She'll also be giving key lessons that people can apply to attract meaningful job opportunities and how to make our graduates employable. Welcome with us, Ofon Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
Yes, but before we come to you on what we just talked about, I wanted us to wrap up the conversation of before, right? And everybody has given their thoughts on education, the increment that has happened. Some of us have said that the timing was short for the model boarding fees to be moved from 35,000 naira to 100,000 naira. Some of us here have said that with everything Nigerians are going through, this is not the time to do that. And some have suggested what the government should be doing going forward, give the parents enough time to pay the money, find a way to open up what they need for the schools and get well-meaning Nigerians to come in and help. And hopefully we'll monitor that conversation to see how it's going and probably the end of the protest that's happening and how government is going to resolve the conversation. We wish them, the parents of the model colleges, we wish them all the best, and we hope that government hears their cry and chooses to do better by them. And that's it on that. So, Ofon Emmanuel, employability of graduates. I've always had a concern, even before I started employing, that many of the graduates we were churning out from our schools were not ready to be employed. And that was because I realized that there was a disconnect between the employers of labor and the schools in question. So we get into school, we pick up subjects. Any. Maybe you wanted to read this one, they say, no, don't read that one, or your cutoff mark did not get you there. Yeah. You pick something, you read, and there's no end goal to where you can work with what you're reading. There's no preparation from school on your ability to be able to be ready for where you're going. You just come out and then you're flying CV everywhere. In fact, when I graduated from school, there's nowhere we did not send CV to. Exactly. We hear on TV, we send, newspaper we send, we're just saying anyone that comes. Yeah. But I just chose to go through teaching because I felt I would be having a family soon and I needed time to step back and raise the family. But I had friends who did not know anywhere. Construction site, they will drop CV. Bank, they will drop CV. This one, they will drop CV. And sometimes when they now get the job, they realize that they do not have the skill set for the particular job. So tell us, how can students begin to have the skill set? And where do you think the problem is originally before we now talk about the solutions?
Okay, so I believe that the problem is from families. Conversations are not hard enough. So we hear that if you go to school, you will get a job when you graduate. Your parents want you to go to school. They spend the money. They push you to go to school. You pick any subject if there's a delay. Like for me, there was a delay. I wanted law. The law department lost accreditation. And so my father just said, philosophy is close to law now. Just do it. And so I went to do law. But then there was no plan. Even though I, was an intelligent student in secondary school, there was no plan. So when you finish studying philosophy, then what? And that's some questions, at least once in a day, I get these kinds of questions from undergraduates, entry-level people, trying to find out what to do after school. And it's heartbreaking because you would see really smart people that could have done better, but are unable to go so far because they didn't have those conversations in their family. So let's leave the families. Let's say your parents didn't know enough. And let's move ahead. What about you? There has to be a plan because I see people leave school and there's no plan. People focus on reading their books. They finish with first class, 4.5. GPA. They are hot in school, but then they get cold after school because there's confusion. They don't know, okay. So I have conversations every day with people, especially people who are just coming into the job market. And I'm like, what do you want to do? They're like, I don't know, any office work. Yeah, well. That's the problem.
Any work will be work.
Exactly. You don't know what have you been doing for 4 or 5 years in school. Reading. You have to know. And I know sometimes it can sound really hard because your focus was to study and pass. But you have to know because this is no longer the Nigeria of those days that people would say when you leave NMPC will be waiting for you. You know, we heard all those stories from our parents that they'll be waiting for you. Once you finish first class,
come and catch you.
Give you.
Yes.
And you travel abroad, go and study, all of that, come back and then work for them. Sounded so nice, but it no longer happens. So you have to have a plan for yourself from school. I hate to break it, that you cannot wait till after school to start thinking of it.
What you want to do.
You have to have a plan, and not just have a plan, you also need to start working towards the plan. Because I know a lot of people come out and then they see job opportunities, 10 years of experience, and they want to pay you 50K for 10 years of experience. And you're thinking, I am just 23, I'm just leaving school. Where do I get 10 years of experience? But I believe that you can gather experience even before you leave school. Tangible, relevant experience that you can use to then apply for proper jobs when you leave school. So,
Okay, so I'm a 16-year-old or 17, or if we go by government, 18-year-old, and I'm in university. And university really wasn't my choice, but my parents said you must go and school, you know. And I still haven't really figured myself out. But I'm in university. The only thing I know is to read and pass. And then I finished, let's say, 4 years. God willing, I went to a private school and not a federal school, you know. So I finished in time, on time. And then, are you saying to me that by the time I finish, it's too late? Or is there a time when I have graduated that I can just start retracing myself and thinking about, okay, what can I do?
So I wouldn't say too late because God's time is the best. But then, why wait till you finish when you can start? So I use myself as an example. Not that I had a plan, but I had always written, spoken in school, published things, published for magazines. It was something I was already doing. So I already had experience. So if you ask me, how many experience do you have? I can tell you I have 15. Because I have been doing this for proper organizations from, you know, when I was in school, even before I got admission. So there are skills that you have now, even as a 16-year-old, things that you can do to offer value, because it's value begets value. To get that experience. And I know many people don't want to hear about volunteering internship opportunities because they're like, they don't pay so well. So how about you start while you do school? Because I promise, school is not the only thing you want to be doing.
I agree.
Trust me.
You don't want to be doing just school. You don't want to graduate with a first. I have seen so many first-class graduate, and they don't know the first thing about sending an email.
Wow.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that
waste of potential.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that you're not just doing school, because trust me, you can write all the papers, do well, and then you are nothing to employers. So you're so smart. You're very intelligent, but nobody can even employ you. So as a 16-year-old, what do you see in your life that you need to start doing?
Okay.
So if you're a good writer, where are you writing? Who are you writing to? How can you gather all of those experiences now so that you can add it and pad it up on your CV and say, I've done this, done that.
I've gotten this experience.
Okay, so on your profile, I can see that you're a digital marketing expert, right? Okay, so what are the available opportunities in that industry?
Okay.
What are the opportunities that are available in that industry? Can you tell us?
Yes, so there's so many opportunities. In fact, it's so wide. Marketing and communications is so wide. But I usually say start from everywhere within the marketing and communications space, because you can't niche down too early. You can't say, oh, I want to do only paid ads and this is it, because there are opportunities everywhere.
Sorry, can you just even tell us, what is this marketing and
communications? Okay, great. So marketing and communications is generally everything that has to do with helping an organization move from zero to a point where they are not only known, they can begin to get some income for whatever product or service that they offer. So whether it has to do with PR, publishing on newspapers to say, oh, this company is a great company, you should work with them, or influencer marketing, or digital ads to set up your social media marketing campaigns, or programmatic ads to say, hey, we have this product you should buy. Everything in between, from writing the content, the copy, producing the video, partnerships to make sure that those things go out, is marketing communications.
Okay, amazing.
Okay, so the opportunity breakdown.
Then the opportunity.
Yes, so the opportunities. always start with what is easy for you, what is natural to you. So if you're a natural writer and people have said you are good at it, then you should start there. So it means that you can be a good content writer. It means that you can be a good technical writer because you know how to write. So always start with what you already know, and then you move to the unknown.
What you're already naturally gifted at.
Yes.
So I love, this is my jam. I love talking about growth and career opportunities and options that are available. And I think many people think there are no options because they are not aware of the options. So I love that we're having this conversation. And I feel that we tend to blame our universities a lot, but we haven't really created a structure to enable employability. We've only created a structure for education. We want to just let you know. Yes, we want you to know what you're doing, but we're not really thinking about how you will solve the problem. And I remember one of my...
Schooling and not education.
Yes, schooling and not education. That's a better word. Akanimo used to talk about the importance of integrating town and gown so that the current needs of the society is what the university is providing. So we are not just educating, we're not producing a lot of banking and finance. When we don't need banking and finance graduates, what we need is engineering, because we know that we want to expand in that area. Do you think that the advocacy targeting the students is an appropriate one, or we should target the advocacy for employability to the schools, to policymakers, to create the structure that would help bring the employability index higher?
Okay, so I'm very intentional, so I usually say you have to start with yourself. Before we begin to talk about policies, structures, people doing it for you, you have to do it for yourself first. So yes, I agree that institutions should begin to take that on. So you would find more entrepreneurship courses. There are courses in school. It's not the real thing. So you find more, even in secondary schools. I know that I've spoken to secondary school students and she said, oh, they are doing entrepreneurship in school. She has to start a business. I'm like, that's great, but it's still school. You actually need to get your hands dirty. You actually need to start applying. Because I usually say if you have never applied and if you have never gotten an interview before, you will mess up, because you don't have the experience. So yes, you're learning all these things. These institutions are trying to provide, but there's you. And you have to do the work.
So there's a guy I stumbled into yesterday. Oh my God, very hilarious. He's a young boy. I think he just finished his 100 level in a private university, and he's a content creator. Only for me to realize that, one, he's a drummer in church. He sews, he's a tailor. Like he made several outfits he was wearing on Instagram. You know the person, Abi? He made his clothes so he could sew. He can drum. He volunteered in church, and this is someone, and he's already creating content that is very engaging, and he's just finishing 100 level.
So let me pause you a bit. So we have an announcement. TVC News will be joining the live broadcast, but your view continues on YouTube, TVC Entertainment, and other platforms.
Okay, so I feel that maybe the advocacy should be for let these children be exposed to everything. Because I can imagine in the next 3 years, what else would he be able to do? And he will not come out of school completely blank. Yes, he won't be blank. He won't be like, I want to do any work, because he can sew. He can build a team, and he can create content. But here's my question. How do we get parents to release their children with this challenge of kidnapping, insecurity? We don't want our children to get abused in the places they are going to, and the parents is looking at it that, let me just go to school, come back, because I don't want any other thing that can happen to happen.
Is this for you?
I'm
wondering.
Because I understand the security issues, but when it has to do with getting ready for employment, it has to be, yes, the children need to get ready, but then the parents have their work to do. And if you're a parent listening, you should know that it does you no good to hold on to those children.
Let me help you there, because I'll also ask you a question. So growing up, our parents had an idea of what would pay. right? So they will tell you the medicine, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be a teacher, you have to be a banker. Those are professions that they know that at least you have a semblance of a life. You have a good paycheck that takes you from point A to point B. Ready job waiting for you, no stress there. Now, we came out from such and we are getting into a life where skill sets matter. It's not about the qualifications that you have. What can you do is what an employer is saying. How do you solve this problem that I have in my office? Simple and short. And now we still have a lot of parents who are still hell-bent on choosing, because I want you to give this advice to them right now, on choosing what their children should study based off of the ideas that they have. Okay, your brain is good for maths, you must be a medical doctor, whether the child wants to be a medical doctor or not. And then you get to a point where you're finished with your certificates as a medical practitioner, medical doctor, and then you want to go and cook. It's not giving you joy anymore.
Yeah.
And so how do we get, because for you to be able to build experience at a very early age, you know what drives us now at that age? You know, I'm still part of them. Now we're still very early. Is dopamine rush. And for you to get that constant dopamine rush to continue doing what you're doing, you have to love what you're doing. And so how do we get our parents to understand that they should start directing these children and having conversations with them about school based on what they want to do when they are done? Just break it down for them.
So I will begin from parents, please listen. I will begin from what you see your children already doing right now. Immediately you see them doing those things, you know, they either have a passion or they have a skill. So it's either an interest or a strength. Please try to help them nurture it. Because in nurturing it, they will find out even some parts of that interests that they don't really want to
like,
do. So please help them. You can coach them, guide them, introduce them to career conversations really early, because they'll begin to think, this thing that I really like, you know, they pay, because they can like it, but then realize that opportunities are not so much, limited, so let me do this one instead. But in coaching them, you allow them to fly, because right now, I know the new one is tech.
And they were forcing them to
do
everybody to
buy you laptop.
I think my son said he does not want. My son was like, I don't want to do ICT in school. It's just so boring. I'm like, but ICT, like your brothers like it. He was like, I don't want to do. I just want to do chess and swimming. Like there's robotic, there's ICT. You choose chess and swimming for extracurricular activities.
So I was going to say, sorry, are you done? Should I?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I was going to say, I was actually having this conversation with my mom yesterday, and we were talking about how when we were growing up, what I noticed was that our parents had, what I would say, they had jobs that they thought were important jobs, and jobs that they would say to you, God forbid, you will never do this. So it was the things like tailoring, cooking, acting, you know? And so a lot of us grew up wanting to do the jobs that we thought were more
important,
prestigious.
Yes, for us, but we didn't have any interest in it. Then what I'm seeing in the younger generation is that for them, there's no job that is a bad job. You know, as long as I have interest in it, my tailoring, what you call tailoring, is now fashion designing.
Yes.
What you call cooking, I'm now a chef.
Fashion and
you know? Vicky James and chef.
Chef those are the things. Yes. What you call carpenter is now a furniture maker. You know.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, sounds cool. But what I'm saying is, you started this by saying a lot of the times the issues we have start from family.
Yes.
And I agree with you, because to a large extent, our parents only know what they know.
Yes.
You know. So where can I go? As a 16-year-old listening to you, like, who can I go to? What resources are there that I can go to so I can learn what you have learned or you're trying to teach beyond listening to you, and empower myself and educate myself so I can make better career choices as I go along?
So you can find lots of schools and resources online, but this one thing I always recommend. In the things that you're interested in, let's say you're interested in marketing, there's one free platform that everybody should be on, which is LinkedIn.
Okay.
And on LinkedIn, you would find people who are already operating in your 5-year plan. They're already operating in your long-term goal.
Yeah.
So what should you do? Because first of all, it's free to reach out to people. Please, reach out to people to seek mentorship or seek resources.
Internship.
Or internship. But then don't just go to people without anything. If you want marketing as a long-term goal, what are you already doing? Are you already writing copies for people? Do you already have a stack of sample of works that you've done for people? You need to approach people
with
who
something.
are already, yes, with something, so that they see, oh, this is what you've been doing. This is great. You can improve.
What if I don't have anything? What if I'm just hearing this now? What are the steps I need to start taking so that I have something to show finally to someone that I've reached out to?
Udemy. Number one, Udemy. So I always say
courses.
there are free courses. I could recommend 1,000 paid courses right now, but there are always free courses. Because if you don't even start, if you reach out to me, say, hey, Ofon, I'm trying to learn so and so thing, but I've registered on Udemy, and I don't think it gives me this view. Can you recommend another course? I'm happy to.
Okay.
Because there's something you're already doing to show some seriousness, and it is really important. You don't walk up to somebody who is already operating in your dream to offer nothing to them, to say, oh, mentor me.
Yeah.
It's not going
So,
to work.
I also feel to answer that, to address that a bit, is the fact that when you send your CV and the only thing that is in your CV is your university and all of that, it's a very bland, unimpressive
Your hobbies.
CV. Yes. I think that your CV should include your volunteering in church
Yes.
or like your everything. Somebody even puts that while she was serving, she was the... She coordinated the market. They had a Mami market stuff and she was in charge, and she put it as a sales experience.
Yes.
And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's everything you do qualifies and embellishes your CV. But as parents, and I think most of it right now, we have probably more parents watching us, that it behoves us to help our children to see what they cannot see by themselves.
You are exposed.
By this conversation, as they've heard it now. Because I have a girl, she's 18 in my office, and she started working with me when she was 16. Her dad actually saw me on TV, knew I was in real estate, and said, this girl has graduated. I don't want her to do anything. Let her come and... She wants to study law, and I feel, I don't know a law firm close to me, but you are doing real estate, you might get a bit of exposure. She has, in terms of commission, if she has not made 5 million naira in commission, she's 18. I'm sure it will be just a little to reach 5 million naira. And this girl, she's just about to get into Unilag to study law, but she's gotten that exposure. At a point, she wanted to even explore tailoring. She resigned last year and went to learn tailoring because people were advising her that go and have handwork skills. And she went there and realized she wasn't enjoying it. So she sent me a message to say, can I still be doing online with the numbers? And she's been earning money from that. So you might think it is tailoring or hairstyling or shoemaking.
Then you start and find out that this is not for me.
But that's exposure. Parents, you must put your children, they must idle hands. They must be doing something.
And at the same time, some people, they are not cut out for skills. Please, let's make that clear.
Sure.
So some people are not cut out that, oh, they must have a skill or something. Some people will actually go to school and make something out of it. Like, for example, I always give this example. Like the Indians. Once they give birth to you, they already know the course you are going to do. They already
pick it for you.
Yes, they'll pick
It's
it
engineering.
because, yes, maybe the father is the managing director of his company because they've established their business.
Yes.
Maybe the father is the managing director of a business. Then the wife is the deputy director. There is the elder brother
There's
will
a
be
structure.
the mechanical engineer. Another one will come and they'll tell you are going to read accounting. Just prepare, and then from that childhood they'll start preparing mentally so that he will tilt towards that accounting and make sure that he gets a degree in accounting. And once he gets that degree in accounting, he comes and works in the company, and that's it.
And he does well.
And
it's also okay.
So everybody has a way of, they just make sure that is in their family. It's something that you already have a course that is waiting for you. So those ones, I'm just trying to say that it's not
It's not just
skills.
handwork.
Yes, it's not just
because
handwork.
now there are
Sometimes-
soft skills.
Yes.
So it's not just handwork.
That's also intentionality.
Yeah.
So families that are really established are very intentional from the beginning. So they find a way to put that interest in the child. And because, say, when at day market, they shout, I carry you belle, I gave birth to you shouting. You already were shouting from the womb. So it becomes a natural ability for you to just pick up on that. So I think the general advice is just to, first of all, understand the strengths and weaknesses of your children.
Yes.
If a child is constantly struggling with a particular subject, I think it doesn't make any brain to keep pushing that child in that direction. Find other things where the child is gifted in. And you as a young person too, that you know what you want to do. And even if you do not know, start asking yourself, what do I want to do in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? When I leave this certificate, what do I really want to do? What makes me happy at the end of the day?
Let me ask you a question, please. I know I've been contributing since I don't ask questions, but this one is actually a question. Because I want you to help, let's say, some graduates that are struggling with getting employed on the easily overlooked skills that people have that they could monetize, but they don't know they could monetize. Because right now I'm paying a copywriter that I have never seen. I've not met her one-on-one, but she's earning good money from me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think before I met her that I needed a copywriter. So are there other skills like that?
I mean, right now, people now know that, oh my God, I can earn from literally anything.
Yeah.
There's some skills like chatting. Yes, online. You chat with some people, provide,
chatters.
provide some companionship.
Yes, and they pay.
Yes, not anything.
And see, my have gone up.
No, not that time. Not that time. But I'm saying that
To provide companions.
every time you see something
When people
that
need
people
someone
enjoy,
to talk to, and you just listen, you're just listening, and
We're
you're
not doing that one.
It's already coming here. I want to set up
So,
one.
but generally, another one is voiceovers. There are people that once they talk, you ask them, do you sing? Because you already know. So don't take it for when people over compliment you on a
something.
skill, on something, you know you
I
should be
should do
cashing out on
voiceovers.
that.
Yeah.
So there's one now I want to even set up where you come and get a hug. A lot of people are not hugged. Yes.
For how much?
They're hog
I will
stabbed.
put my price first now before I announce.
But continue with the list.
Yes, you are there to provide that comfort, that hug for a few minutes. Not up to 1 hour, a few minutes, and you get paid for it. It's a
It's on
service.
Instagram now.
A lot of people don't collect
So,
hug.
okay, I was going to continue.
Finally, we're wrapping up.
All right. So everything, every skill, every interest that you have, I believe, strongly believe that God intentionally puts it there in you. So don't take it for granted, because when people say, oh, I have so many potentials, I'm multi-potentialite, I'm like, you are also multi-influential. So it means that it's not just potential, you can actually cultivate it to make sure you're making impact and making money
At those levels.
from all of those
For
skills put
bringing
together.
that
up.
So you will not only be a 9-to-5er who is a marketer, you will be an event host who can use her voice to
Yeah.
make money.